I'm the community health nurse at Splatsin Health Centre.
And I'm Denica Bleau. I'm the holistic wellness practitioner and I do addictions work as well.
And together we run a harm reduction program out of Splatsin Health Centre, and one of the things that we're offering that is new is fentanyl test strips. So what this does, it actually tells us sometimes, it aims to tell us if there's fentanyl in drugs. And so what Denica's going to do is do a little demonstration about how it does that, and then I'm going to talk about some tips about how to stay safe with drugs.
Are you walking us through?
Yeah, so I'm going to walk you through it. And so the first step is to always check your drugs before you use them. And so if you think about your drugs, we like to think of it like a chocolate chip cookie. And so the reason why this isn't a totally foolproof method is because if you think about a chocolate cookie, just because you don't have a chocolate chip in each bite doesn't mean there's not chocolate chips in the cookie. And so there could be fentanyl in your drugs, you just might not get that part tested. And so it's really important to just remember to use all the safe tips as well at the end of this video. But if you are just going to test your drugs for fentanyl, the first step is to get a cup and to get these strips. And so all you need is this strip and some water and a cup. And so what you need to do is you need to pour about a shot glass full of water into the cup. It's usually about, if room temperature water is best. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put a small sample of the substance to be checked. It's just like a few grains of sand into the water, and then swirl the cup around a little bit. You don't have to do that, but it's good to do. It's important to not add too much water and not to add too little water. About the shot glass is perfect. So then you open up the package at the notched end, and you hold the strip by the blue side only. Do not touch the white end. So we think about it blue to the sky. So then you place this test strip in the water covering the wavy lines. Be careful not to go above those solid wavy lines. You hold the strip in the water for 15 seconds or wait for the red stripe to appear. Do not make dipping or stirring motions at this time. So then, after you've held it in there for 15 seconds, you're going to place the strip on a package and wait 1 to 2 minutes for results. So while that's waiting the 1 to 2 minutes, I'm just going to tell you about interpreting the results. So a positive test means one line is fentanyl is detected. And so one easy way to remember this is saying to yourself, one line alone, one line on its own, don't use alone. And the negative test will mean 2 lines. So that means no fentanyl has been detected in that. If it's inconclusive or invalid, the top red line closest to the solid blue should always show up. But if it doesn't, the test is invalid. And so we'll check that out with you too. So the one closest to the blue should always show up. If it's just the other one, then that test is invalid. So you can see here on these lines, it has 2 lines, and so that means it is negative for fentanyl. Because this is not a totally safe, it could have false positives, we could just not detect the fentanyl in the drugs. It's important to not use alone, to take turns, and to start with a small amount. It's also important to have a take-home naloxone kit on hand, either a nasal one or an injectable one, and you can pick those up here at any time. It's also important to not use or mix substances together, because that will increase your risk of overdose. It's also important to call 911 if you think someone is having an overdose experience. And the last thing is to always use in a safe place if possible, like an overdose prevention site and around other people. Thank you guys so much for listening.